Get ready for another wild ride through Reddit. Today we're exploring our /Amitheasshole with 7 absolutely incredible stories. These posts had everyone talking, and I know you're going to love them. Hit like if you're excited. This story is titled AITA for telling my sister-in-law to walk her daughter to school, posted by you/walktoschool8967. I, F23, am a university graduate and live at home with my mother. She owns the house with a mortgage that's been fully paid off. I pay her rent, around half of the market rate for our area, and do most of the housework. Me and my mother both work a lot. I work in healthcare and work irregular shift patterns, and my mom is self-employed and occasionally has to travel for work. My brother, M31, his wife, Rose, F31, and their daughter, F6, moved back into our mom's house on Friday. They got a mortgage on a home, but it turned out to have a lot of maintenance issues, the biggest ones being with their toilet and shower not functioning. Also, their heating doesn't work. It's estimated to take at least a month to fix everything, so in the meantime they're staying here. Rose came to me and asked if I could take their daughter to school, as her school is a 5-minute drive from the hospital. Normally their neighbor, who has a child the same age, would take her to school, but that's no longer an option. My brother works full-time and his shifts clash with doing this. He starts at 7 a.m. and he and Rose share a car, as she only works one shift a week on Sundays. I told Rose that I can't commit to taking my niece to school every day. She needs to be dropped off at school for 8 a.m., and sometimes I'm doing overnight shifts that don't finish until 9 to 10 a.m., or I'm doing shifts that start really early in the morning. Rose got a bit upset and asked why I can't just explain to my boss that I need to be available for school drop-off. She didn't wait for an answer and said she knows it's not that simple, but she needs me to help her. In my job, if you start requesting restricted availability, they will give you way less shifts. I couldn't understand why Rose wouldn't walk her daughter to school, as it's a 15-minute walk from our mom's house to get there, with no hills and plenty of safe crossings. Rose and their daughter don't have any health conditions that would make this not doable. I asked Rose why she wouldn't walk her daughter to school, and she said that it's too far to walk with a young child. I showed her the distance on Google Maps. I assumed she wasn't aware of how close it was, and she reiterated that it was too far. I said to Rose I think that's her best option, but I cannot take her daughter to school every day. Later that day, my mom told me that Rose came to her really upset that I refused to help. My mom said she knows I normally work irregular shifts, but that it'd be a really nice thing for me to do. I feel like I'm going crazy because when I was a kid I went to the same school, and my mom walked me there and back from this house. I said no, and my mom said that's fine, I understand. Now, I've got my brother calling me selfish, and he said it's a small ask that even their neighbor could do it, and I'm refusing. Am I really such an asshole? This story is titled AITA for walking out of the restaurant and leaving my friend, posted by you/Brina95. Let's jump into another amazing story. My girlfriends and I went to a restaurant 2 days ago. I was the designated driver. I ordered my meal and they ordered their meal. I went to take a picture of my plate, and before I could even take the picture, one of them used her fork and stirred up my food. I got upset and asked her why she would do that, and she told me it was cringe to take pictures of food. I could tell the other girls were uncomfortable, but no one stood up for me. All I wanted was a damn pic because my plate was presented beautifully. I got upset and just walked out the restaurant and drove home, leaving them behind. When I got home, I asked who paid for my meal and zelled her the cost. They started texting me and telling me that it was just a joke, what I did was immature, and that it was wrong of me to leave them behind considering I was the driver. I do feel like I overreacted, but I also feel like what she did was mean. AITA? This story is titled AITA for not paying house utilities until I get the receipts, posted by you/Gigagelato. This story is equally incredible. I'm 21 and still new to living life outside of college. Last month I asked my housemate if he could send me the utility bill statements before I pay him over Venmo. I got the idea from my grandma, who said I should have receipts for everything I buy, so I wanted to give that a try. So, I get the Venmo for the bill, and there is no statement, and I think, maybe he just forgot. This seems like a reasonable excuse since I did ask him over a month ago. So, I DM him, please send receipts for the bills. So I can pay you thumbs up, and I get no response. I think that's weird. So the next day I message him the same thing, and I get no response. Yesterday I tried calling him on Messenger, Discord, and over the phone, and got no response. Am I the asshole for refusing to pay bills when I don't see the bill statement? Or is asking to see the bill statement something that I should have been doing from the beginning, and now it's coming back to bite me? Side note, I did ask him for the bill statements back in September. And he seemed angry about it but let me have them. Does asking to see statements make people upset? When I sent him the internet statement I didn't feel upset. Is that normal? He hasn't responded to me for 2 weeks now. And this is the second or third time he left without a word. This story is titled AITA for telling my dad that I don't care about making him proud, posted by u/plumc8317. Moving on to our next incredible story. I, 17, am an affair baby. Dad and I only see each other 1 day a month. He said it was difficult enough to get his wife to agree to that. And that he didn't want to push it. He told me when I'm married I'll understand compromise. One of the 2 worst things that happened to our relationship was when his wife said I seem quite well read for a waitress son, have my grandpa to thank for buying me books, I suppose. My dad didn't say anything. I could understand her disdain given that dad did cheat on her with my mom, but his silence stung. The other was when I came out. And he said maybe I was just confused and should try dating his friend's daughter. He did give up on the idea but things just haven't been the same. I just don't know what to say or how to act around him. He said he wants me to study abroad in the US or the UK. And told me to take an IELTS exam. I took the exam and didn't do very well in it. Dad accused me of deliberately doing badly so I could stay with my boyfriend, 17. I told him I did my best and he said I should have tried harder to make him proud. I snapped. I told him I don't actually care about making him proud and Dad looked hurt and said he only wanted the best for me. And that I should try to understand. This story is titled AITA for driving myself to get pads, posted by u/sadambassador3316. Our next story is equally fascinating. I, 18F, recently went on a trip with my mom, 50F. We drove her car down to an Airbnb where we stayed for a couple of weeks. I have been on birth control since I was about 15 for irregular, painful, and heavy periods. Save for a few times that I've forgotten to take the pill. I haven't had my period in years. For some reason, my birth control just decided to stop working while we were on this trip. I was taking it consistently and on time, but I ended up getting my period anyway. Because I haven't had my period in years. I was unprepared both physically and materially. I had no pain relievers and most importantly, no pads or tampons. We weren't in walking distance of any stores. And frankly, I wasn't comfortable walking alone in an unfamiliar neighborhood regardless. I asked my mom if she could drive me to go get pads, and she said we would later. By the next day, I had bled through multiple pairs of underwear. I asked her again, and she said she would go when she had time. I asked if I could just drive myself, and she told me no. I understand her reasoning. I'm a young driver, her car isn't one I'm super familiar with, and we're in a new area. I get it. But it essentially meant I just had to wait for her to get me what I needed. I reminded her a few times over the next few days. Even after washing my underwear. It was stained and gross and essentially unwearable. Toilet paper didn't do much to help as a makeshift pad. Eventually, I decided I just needed to do it myself. While she was out, I took her car to the nearest convenience store, maybe a 10-minute drive, and got what I needed. Before I left, I sent her a text saying I was going to grab the pads. And that she didn't need to worry about it. When I got back, she was waiting for me and pissed. She told me that she said I wasn't allowed to use her car. I told her that I had no other way to get to the store. She said that she would have gone and gotten what I needed, but I reminded her that I had been asking for days. I feel like I didn't have much else choice. Am I the asshole? This story is titled AITA for not telling my former stylist that I switched to another stylist in the same salon while she was gone for a year. Now she's back, posted by you/IC at 8228. This story is equally incredible. I went to the hair salon the other day, and both my former hairstylist, Jessie, and my current stylist was in there. For context, last year, Jessie decided that she was going to move almost an hour away, and she was going to open her own salon. While I loved how she styled my hair, I was not traveling 2 hours for a hairstyle. So, I decided to go to somebody else in the same salon who was just as good as she was. So, for the last year or so I've been going to Cary. Well, fast forward to this week. When I walked in, Jessie is there grinning from ear to ear, super happy to see me. Then, it hits me. She has no idea I've been going to Cary ever since she moved. Cary immediately calls me over. And you could literally see Jessie realize in real time that I wasn't there for her. The tension in the salon during the 2 hours I was there was unreal. No one knew what to say. When I was leaving, Jessie stopped me and told me I was wrong for going to Cary. I told her she moved almost an hour away, and I wasn't obligated to follow her. I also let her know I didn't owe her an explanation. Later, she texted me saying I should have told her that I was going to Cary, and now that she's back, I should come back to her since I'd stayed for convenience. AITA for not telling Jessie that I started going to Cary instead while she was gone. This story is titled WIPTA If I Spent the Money Meant to Pay Someone Who Did a Job for Me, posted by you/PJM14624. And now for our final story of today. That wraps up today's incredible Reddit stories compilation. If you enjoyed these amazing tales, hit like and subscribe for more daily content. What was your favorite story? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.